Aljo versus TJ Dillashaw. And this is another one, like old school versus new school.
Yeah, I think Aljamain Sterling is underappreciated in terms of his body of work. And I know you're a willing and able grappler, so you understand just how good he is in that realm.
Yeah.
He's absolutely enormous for 135 pounds. He did walk into our fighter meeting today. He was our first meeting, Paddy, and he was tired. Like, his energy came on during the meeting, but when he first walked in the room, I was concerned. He had a much better disposition about him at the press conference, and so I'm less concerned. But make no mistake about it, this is a difficult cut down to 135 pounds for Aljamain Sterling. I do think you'll see him at featherweight before his UFC career is said and done. I guess for me, there are more variables and more unknowns on the Dillashaw side, right? He's 36 years old. He did acknowledge that he has had to train smarter and focus on recoverability and things like that a little bit at this stage of his career. Obviously, he hasn't fought all that often, right? The suspension followed by the Sandhagen fight, which was a great result, but he went into surgery like 24 hours after the Sandhagen result, so it's not as though he was able to get sustained training, which has a lot of value. But yeah, certainly I see a striking advantage for Dillashaw, but I see a decided grappling advantage for Aljamain Sterling, and not a lot of people see it that way. A lot of people think Dillashaw's ground game is underrated, and I would give you that. But I just think Aljo is a totally different animal down there in terms of the physicality, the strength, the positioning, the human backpack, all of that. I think Dillashaw needs a kickboxing match in order to realize success Saturday. I really do.
Yeah, I'm 100% agreeing with you there. I think Aljo gets underrated because of obviously how he won the title against Peter Yan. People still look past him, but he won the rematch, so you can't. He's the bantamweight champion of the world. It's that simple, and I'm leaning towards the side of Aljo, to be honest. As you say, TJ's 36 now. He's getting a bit older. We don't know really what he's going to be like in a 5-round grappling match, and I think that's what Aljo's going to make it. He's going to try and get on his back and submit him, and I think he could end up winning the decision, to be honest.
We talked to Aljamain in the fighter meeting about just the wrestling, right? And it seems as though TJ obviously is a Division I wrestler. Aljo was 87-27 as a Division III All-American. But wrestling and MMA, and again, I don't have to tell you this, but to your audience, right? It's a totally different animal. Like, we asked Aljo if he was wrestling TJ, and he thinks he would just murk the guy. Like, he thinks it would be a no contest. And if you're asking me, if those guys put singlets on, I do give the advantage right now to Aljamain Sterling, just relative to where he is at in his athletic career. Seems to me to be the more primal guy right now. I'm really curious to see what we get out of TJ Dillashaw. And even though he's lost the respect of a lot of his peers, I think his peers like yourself still appreciate the skill set of TJ Dillashaw. They still acknowledge the hard work. They know he has heart. I just don't particularly like the matchup for him. If indeed it's a grappling match for 25 minutes, and I do believe that Aljo's going to realize success and be able to take Dillashaw down, and we'll see if TJ tries to mix in some of his offensive wrestling. But I do think for Dillashaw, striking advantage, got to find a way to keep it there, and that's obviously easier said than done.
Yeah, much easier said than done. Personally, once again, I'm going for Aljo. I think he could get a decision here by taking TJ down relentlessly, and obviously I've got to pick against TJ, lad. He was calling me fat the other week. Cheeky bastard.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I mean, he
prints
t-shirts
pick against
that say
him.
Fat Tyler. I don't know. Have you ever seen TJ's t-shirts? He prints
That's
t-shirts
what I
that say
tweeted
Fat
back,
Tyler.
John. That's what I tweeted back. You had t-shirts years ago called Fat Tyler. What are you talking about, you hypocrite? So, well.